Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking the time today to join us to learn a bit more about our comprehensive VDI solution, MySecureDesktop. My name is Jeremy Slater, and I'm a Vice President here at ACS Group. Joining us today are Dan Lee. Dan is our Senior Solutions Architect. I have Edward Ringel. Edward is our Senior Cloud Solutions Architect and the primary architect for the MySecureDesktop VDI solution, as well as Michael Nelson. Michael is our Director of Business Development. Quick couple of housekeeping items. Microphones for all of our participants are currently muted. If you were like me, you are working from home, and I have a rambunctious 6-year-old that likes to interrupt webinar and GoToMeetings. So we have saved you the embarrassment by muting everyone for the time being. You're more than welcome to ask any questions at any time using the chat and Q&A feature on the right-hand side of your screen. We're also going to be doing a Q&A session at the end to make sure that we answer any questions that you do have. At the end of the webinar today, you'll receive a link to the recording. It will have the full presentation from you, as well as our contact information. So if you have any follow-up questions for us that maybe didn't get asked or answered on this call, feel free to follow up with us. One last item, make sure you switch on your computer audio. There is a demonstration that's going to take place of the MySecureDesktop VDI product at the end of this, and it works best if your computer audio is active. So a little bit about ACS. So ACS, American Cyber Systems, is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. We have roughly 17,000 employees and consultants globally, 50 plus years of IT consulting experience, and we serve mid-market to Fortune 1,000 clients. Our presence throughout the US, we have an extensive US presence as well as international offices across UK, Europe, Australia, Canada, Latin America, as well as some development and success centers in India and Taiwan. While we are here today to learn more about the MySecureDesktop VDI solution, I wanted to also quickly cover some of the other services and solutions that ACS provides to further empower our business partners. This is a high-level overview. We've got a big digital transformation group, cloud computing, data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and if you haven't checked that out, we've got some pretty amazing artificial intelligence projects that we've completed and delivered to our clients. It's some really neat stuff going on there. And then some more traditional business services, DevOps, agile transformation, PMO services, and business consulting. So our client base, as you can see from this slide, our portfolio of clients is spread out across many different verticals and organization sizes. Our services and solutions offering help these organizations maximize their IT spend and allow them to focus their time and energy on their core responsibility, which is ensuring the success of their business. So why the cloud? According to a Gartner research paper, only less than 1/3 of enterprises have a documented cloud strategy. You see at the bottom note there, cloud-enabled organizations are exponentially better equipped to explore opportunities for new revenue streams, and more importantly, today more than ever, continue to deliver value amidst unpredictable market conditions and multi-geography deployment needs. So our cloud offerings and how we do it, our delivery model, the biggest differentiator between our service offering and the multitude of VDI services available in the marketplace is the relationship we build with our customers. Everybody's deploying VDI. Our big differentiator, again, is that relationship that we establish with our customers. We take a deep dive into your business processes and related technology requirements, and it's important that we collaborate with key stakeholders. Not only the business executives, but the folks that are actually using the technology on a day-to-day basis. We've spent quite a bit of time assessing the cloud maturity and readiness of your current portfolio. We make sure that's going to align with your core business objectives to design a viable way forward to the cloud. Part of this process also is creating that assessment as well as the strategy. So one size does not fit all when it comes to the cloud, and that's another big differentiator with ACS Group. We want to make sure that the strategy we put forth is customized and designed for your success around your organization. The next part of that is obviously we start implementing the cloud transformation, and then we continue to evaluate how that has gone, and we look at other opportunities, leveraging that ongoing value add to see where else the cloud will bring success to your business. I'm going to turn this over to Dan Lee, who is our Senior Solutions Architect for the walkthrough of the MySecureDesktop VDI platform. Dan?
Thank you. So let's just jump right into MySecureDesktop. MySecureDesktop is a secure, private, cloud-hosted application and desktop solution. We always like to talk about security first. So at the security level, we use military-grade encryption to secure your data, both in transit and at rest. We apply security features and protections using custom policies that can be adjusted depending on your compliance requirements that you particularly have. We use detection and monitoring tools enabled at each layer of the stack to notify us of trouble or prevent trouble before it even happens. And we'll talk more about that security portion a little bit later. Some of the features that MySecureDesktop is best known for includes being able to access your business apps and data from anywhere using any device. So as companies are continuing to adopt the BYOD model, it's very important to us that we can cater to the devices that employees use the most. So Mac OS, tablets, Windows machines, of course, Chromebooks, or even just mobile devices. Whatever they have available to them is what they can use to remotely connect to MySecureDesktop. And like I said, it's very important to us that we're agnostic there, that they can use whatever device they want in order to reach us. We want employees to be able to connect in a non-degradated fashion, meaning the applications that they used and the applications that you've paid for the licensing are delivered in their entirety, rather than just some watered down version or some web-based application version of that solution that you've delivered. Always on technology means that we employ the best possible hardware and software solutions in some of the most sophisticated and structurally sound data centers, so uptime is kept to as close to 100% as possible. Now, this same infrastructure that we use ensures the scalability of our product. We're able to quickly deploy new customers. We're able to augment those customers with new applications. We can deliver new products, and we can even expand our footprint as rapidly as we need to. MySecureDesktop resides on a privately owned and operated equipment, AWS. We don't lease from Azure. This gives us complete autonomy and control over the foundation where MSD resides. And the lesser discussed benefit of moving to the cloud includes our incredible bench strength that supports MySecureDesktop. So from engineers to our service desk team, the 24/7, 365 support means you're working with someone who's well-trained and very knowledgeable when you need them the most. So what platforms do we use in order to present MySecureDesktop? Well, at a very high level, MySecureDesktop leverages the long-term service release of Citrix XenApp. We use Citrix as the delivery method for virtual desktops to our customers, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with both Citrix and VMware. Underneath Citrix as the delivery platform, we use VMware. Now, in our research before we moved forward with going live with MySecureDesktop, we found that the VMware was really the supreme of redundancy and high availability. So we basically took the best of both platforms and we combined the better features to create what we believe is the best possible solution for the virtual desktop or the virtual applications. So I want you to imagine our server structure and then a VMware hypervisor that is then delivering Citrix XenApp. So we have two very distinct delivery models for our product. One is the full cloud desktop. And this is the desktop that you can see here in this screenshot. It's very familiar to our users, and we'll be previewing a demo of this very shortly. The other side of the model is the published application side. Now, this means that no desktop is necessary. You can log into our dashboard and you can remotely connect to these applications on a single application basis, and it will run as if you were running this application as if it was locally installed. Talking a little bit more about that full cloud desktop, it's a traditional Microsoft desktop to end users, or at least it looks like it. We don't want users to feel as though they're in a server-based virtual environment. We want them to feel at home. We want the normalcy of connecting to a virtual desktop. With this full desktop comes full access to Microsoft Network drives, which are traditionally shared drives and home drives. We're all familiar with the S drive or the H drive that companies have. We can map any other drives that your company might need. And then each session itself is fully customizable because your business is privately sectioned off from the rest of the shared environment that we have, meaning the applications that are on your virtual desktop are installed for you and they're customized to your needs. So for example, you aren't using this Outlook icon that's on your virtual desktop here with other customers of ours, which is very different from other VDIs in the marketplace. On the published application side, we find that businesses benefit from publishing single apps when they need to access the mission critical apps that many employees need access to. So the benefits to only running a single application include not having to install the app on everyone's machine. If you have 1,500 users who need access to Microsoft Dynamics, for example, that's a lot of installs. Other benefits include keeping the data in a very secure area, which means the data itself rests and sits in our data center rather than on the desktops of your employees. Also, there's no security issues with applications being accessed in roundabout ways. There's only one way to access this application. You go to our desktop, you launch MySecureDesktop, and then you launch that single application that's there. And then Jeremy, would you like to speak a little bit more towards our compliance and our audit standards?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is another area, big differentiator for us and most VDI providers, especially in the public cloud model. As you'll see, we're a Tampa, Florida-based team. Our data center is here in Tampa, Florida, and our data center itself is highly regulated: SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3, as well as PCI DSS, HIPAA, HITECH, and the rest of the acronym alphabet soup there. They complete these audits on an annual basis. They report these audits into us, and then we meet with our service providers to make sure that there aren't any glaring deficiencies in their reports as part of our review. We actually take that a step above and beyond that. Our ACS operations team actually maintains our own active SOC 2 Type 1 audit report, which is reviewed and renewed annually by our audit partner, ControlLogix. And so in a typical public cloud VDI type environment, they'll advertise they have their SOC 2 audit or a different run of SOC audit availability. But the reality is most of those stop at your operating environment. They're not going to take responsibility for the security of your data, ability of your data, and the confidentiality of your data. We actually take that on. So part of our SOC 2 covers our internal operation and maintain your data and the access to that data. So we have an internal user access system to where we generate reports for new users, terminated users. We have a well-documented and mature change management system that governs any changes to the environment. And that's all about making sure that your data is safe. So regulatory and compliance benefits offered. So obviously, I walked through the SOC, the different SOC reports that are available for the data center environment, and then our own internal SOC 2 report. And this gives you a little bit of a breakdown of why we do that. Compliance assessment, consulting, and planning is a big part of our operation. Again, we want to make sure that we're following the letter of the law for both our own internal audit, but also to make sure that we're staying compliant with each regulatory requirement based upon what business vertical that you're in. Dan?
Thanks. So let's talk about protecting your data. Data protection always begins with redundancy in the environment. So our VMware hypervisors are replicated across as many hosts as we need, and those virtual machines that exist on those can migrate from host to host freely in case we need to maintenance the servers or in case something were to go down. All network equipment is fully redundant, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. And then we also have 3 tiers of data protection. So we employ the Nimble Hybrid SAN solution, and we take advantage of the snapshot solution that exists on that SAN. So every 15 minutes, we're taking snapshot volumes. We take it another level, and we take image-based backups of the virtual machines using Veeam technology, so that when we have to, we can perform an instant virtual machine recovery from the last time that those virtual machines have been backed up. And then last, we use the Barracuda Cloud and Backup Appliance solution to take file level backups of your data, which allows us to quickly restore the databases or even restore the files for your employees of an individual, just in case they might need to restore, say, a file that might be lost or deleted. Most of the time, that's just a quick phone call to help desk or a service desk team, and we can find those files for them and restore them with a single call resolution. Now, a little bit more about protecting your network. Our border protection is powered by Juniper and Cisco devices. And then internally, we are protected by Fortinet gear. So all network devices employ IDS and IPS, which is intrusion detection and intrusion prevention. So we not only want to know where there's malicious activity on our network, but we can proactively mitigate that protection ahead of time. We use Bitdefender Gravity Zone Enterprise as our traditional anti-malware or antivirus solution. And then we take it one step further. And for our endpoint protection, we use what's called Cisco Umbrella on each of the machines that we support. And this provides security at the DNS layer. And then finally, we're always conducting our regular vulnerability scans, which are reviewed by a security team here at ACS Group on a regular basis. And that determines if we have any potential threats. Most of the time, they're either false positives, or we can be alerted or be notified if there's something that we should really be concerned about. Now, specifically speaking to our data centers, we're located out of Tampa, Florida, but we have connected data centers across the globe. All of our data centers are just as highly compliant as we are, as Jeremy mentioned, with at least N+2 redundancy, meaning for every node or device that's used, there are a minimum of 2 devices that are standing by. And again, our assets are fully owned by ACS. We don't lease or leverage third parties for our operating environments. And just real quickly, in terms of our monitoring, if it has a log or if it has a way to monitor its activity, we're definitely going to be monitoring it. So we monitor for security, of course, but we also monitor for performance, from the hard drive to the OS to the server to switching and routing. Our team is keeping a really close eye on that.
So talking a little bit about our cloud value proposition, and I'm going to back up a little bit to monitoring, because we had a call earlier today with a customer looking at looking at performance statistics for their end users. The monitoring we deploy is pretty high end for on the Citrix platform, and so we have the capability to diagnose performance issues, whether it's occurring on a hypervisor, whether it's occurring at the Zen app level, or whether it's occurring in transit between the end user and our data center environment using the Cisco Director platform. It gives us a lot of visibility. Our service desk team has immediate access to that. It's not an issue that has to get escalated. Our frontline service desk team can quickly get in there and take a look at that data and start working to resolve any potential issues, whether it's local connectivity, whether it's an issue with one of our hypervisor servers, et cetera. So our cloud value proposition, we sort of break this up into 3 areas. You've got always on technology. So the environment is always available 24/7 by 365. We have a rapid incident response team, 100% uptime guarantee, and always proactive management. If it's one thing you take away from this, is our ability to gather and process data, and we leverage those tools and those AI systems internally to make sure the environment is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. When we see it anywhere outside the norm, it's sort of the 1% rule. 1% of something is going wrong, we're engaging the rapid incident response team to make sure that we're addressing that before a customer notices that. Predictable spending. So our business model is a flat rate monthly service. So we invoice based on the amount of users that are in the system, and that's the flat rate. Minimal upfront investment, and we include upgrades and support as part of that flat rate monthly service. And then obviously data security. One of our forefront issues here is we want to make sure obviously your data is secure and protected within our environment, and we deploy a multitude of layers of protection to make sure that's the case. So before we jump into the case studies real quick, Dan, do you want to go ahead and walk through the demo of MySecureDesktop?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. So some of the case studies that we have, and this one is a more recent one. This has been a long-time customer of ours. They're in the commercial real estate finance industry. They also do loans for large solar installations as well. They've been a customer of ours for, goodness, going on 7 or 8 years at this point. And they were really looking for back then looking for a VDI type solution so they could get out of the business of doing on-prem IT and sort of the cost and maintenance expense associated with that. And because of our full range of functionalities and providing them a secure access to both their off-the-shelf and custom-built applications, they chose MySecureDesktop, and they've been working with that for a number of years now. And so, one of the big things that came out, they sent a message to all of their customers and all their prospects about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, in response to the everything that's unfolding with COVID-19. And you can see that response there below. But their CEO. Made a point to tell us that under the MySecureDesktop platform, one of the great benefits was when it was time to make the responsible decision to close the office and get folks working from home on a full-time basis, they literally just dropped what they were doing and went home. There was no real operational impact. The biggest change was sort of adjusting to their work from home instead of being in the office with their counterparts all the time. And so that was a big deal for these guys. And they reached out to us again to express their gratitude for the environment, because again, there's a lot of companies right now that are grappling with how to make their work from home employees productive and continue the operations of their business, whereas this customer literally just picked up and closed the doors and went home. The next case study coming up is a smaller nonprofit group. They chose us because their employees are both on-prem and also remote. They work a lot in hospitals and facilities such as that, and they needed to be able to quickly access their HIPAA-protected documents and applications. And also just sort of some general use of the Microsoft Office suite, so they could quickly send emails or access Word documents or Excel spreadsheets. And we presented a demo, we set up the environment for them, and they've really fallen in love with us. They've been with us for a number of years now, and really appreciate the fact that, again, similar to our commercial real estate finance customers, they were able to completely close their offices and walk away with no real impact. So last but not least, while we're boring you with case studies, is we have a lot of commercial banks, as you saw on our sort of logo, our clients page, or our clients deck page there. A lot of the commercial banks that work with us are continuing to face, sort of the operational inefficiencies, the security risks, and the costs associated with hosting their financial applications on premise. The biggest thing we hear from IT departments is they just don't have the time or the resources to continue to manage these financial systems. And so they come to us looking for an organization that they could truly partner with. Azure, AWS, GCP, again, great platforms, but they don't have that relationship level like ACS brings to the table. And so they really need to partner with them to help them get to the cloud, make those applications more efficient, and ultimately manage those application deliveries and the data access to their environments. And they choose us because we're obviously a highly regulated, audited, and secured environment. And because we do focus so much time on the relationship building and making sure that this is truly a partnership and not just a one-off engagement from another vendor. The big benefits our commercial banks tend to find is, again, freedom for their IT team to focus on other long-term operations. Really gives them a chance to sort of get out of the day-to-day muck and focus on what their goals are, and making sure that their IT projects are aligning with what's really truly needed by the business. And when you're stuck, and I know we've got a lot of IT people on the line with us today, you've got you're sort of stuck in the mud doing application updates and application troubleshooting and access troubleshooting, what a challenge that can be to sort of get your head above water and focus on those big things. Obviously, a higher level of network security. We've got a due diligence package that we put together for all of our prospects and our customers to show our security and compliance, and we meet with their security and compliance and audit teams on a regular basis. And so that's a big focus from them, and the benefit is they get to offload a lot of that work to us. And again, the BYOD, the ability for employees to work from anywhere, especially during these types of events that are going on today, gives you the ability to literally walk away from your sort of core business location and work from anywhere. So thank you to everyone. We're going to go ahead and unmute the lines. I received a couple of questions that I want to go ahead and answer from the chat window. One of them that came up early on was, does this support multiple monitors? So it does. It'll support as many monitors as you have. Most of the engineers have 2 or 3 monitors here, and it works pretty seamlessly. Another question I received was, are there any special firewall ports that need to be open to access the VDI? The answer to that is no. It operates straight over 443 using the Citrix Workspace Agent. The Workspace Agent is just a lightweight agent that's provided by Citrix. It's downloadable from the Citrix website, and that's what secures the connection between the endpoint and our data center environment. Charity, if you feel free to open up the lines to see if we have any more questions, and if you don't want to talk, that's perfectly fine as well. Feel free to type out any more questions you have in the chat window, and we'll get them answered. Hey, sorry about that. It looks like I got muted accidentally there, but I didn't hear any questions come in. We did get another one in the chat window asking about 2-factor auth and as well as single sign-on. Currently, right now, we do not support single sign-on. We do maintain our own Active Directory. That is probably our #1 most requested feature, is single sign-on integration. And that is something that we are working on and we hope to have available this year. 2-factor auth we do support. So Citrix natively supports the Duo 2-factor platform, so that is an option. As well as there's also a self-service portal available to our customers. And so if a customer locks out their account or is having a problem with their password, the customer is able to log into our custom self-service portal, reset their password, reset their 2-factor, and get themselves back up and running without needing to contact our service desk teams. So single sign-on currently doesn't work. It is something that we are anticipating being able to deliver in the very near future. 2-factor absolutely available, and a self-service portal also available to empower the end users to lock and unlock their accounts as needed. So I don't think we have any more questions. That was the last of the questions that I received in chat. Just wanted to say a quick thank you. I know everyone that's on this call is under a lot of pressure and stress, managing and maintaining their IT environments under this sort of new world that we're operating. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time today. Just a quick reminder that you'll be receiving a recording to the link of the webinar, as well as the demonstration. And if you have any questions or you'd like to learn more about MySecureDesktop, reach out to Michael Nelson. He's our Director of Business Development over here at ACS, and his contact information is up on the screen, and it'll also get emailed out to everybody. Thanks, everyone.